What's up? What's good? We are back on the channel today with another banger. And today, we'll be looking at the top music of 2024. In my opinion, of course, right? Specifically, I'll go over my top rap albums, pop albums, overall albums, top songs, pop songs, and rap songs. So without further ado, let's get it. Let's get things started with the my top rap albums of 2024. I'll just go over my top 15 and I'll just give you brief reasons as to why I thought they were ranked where they were and why they were good albums. So let's start off with number one, Chromacopia. That, in my opinion, is the album of the year for 2024. It was just a beautiful album, really great concept, very Mr. Morale of Tyler. I did a review on this obviously already. It's just a really um, greatly done album, right? And I just think it was the best album of the year, everything considered. Like, you got to take into account your album quality, artist quality, the concept, and everything tied in. It's probably the album of the year in terms of rap. Next, GNX by Kendrick Lamar. And before I kind of like dug deep and found like the concept of GNX, I probably had this rated a little bit lower, probably closer to like 4 or 5. But after considering the concept, I think it's a really well done album. The only reason I'd say Chromacopia is slightly above it is because it had a better concept. Um, GNX is still really well done though, and it's Kendrick, so it's gonna be a great album, right? My number three, I got The Crossroads by Cordae. A really, really underrated album. I feel like not enough people are talking about. Cordae is one of my favorite young and upcoming. Well, I guess he's not really young anymore, but one of my favorite like next gen rappers. He has great lyricism, really solid flow. He always is able to find really good producers and have good production on his songs. The Crossroads was a really well done album. Has a really cool concept as well. It just I feel the reason it's not number one or number two is because it was a little bit too long, in my opinion. But it's still a really great album, and that's why it's my number three. Number four, I got Dark Times by Vince Staples. This was actually my album of the year up until like recently, obviously with like Chromacopia, GNX, and The Crossroads all dropping. But Dark Times is a banger of an album. If you guys haven't listened to it yet, you have to check it out. Vince Staples is amazing, amazing lyricism, really good flow. Production was great on this album, and it was a pretty interesting concept to think about too. So, Dark Times is number four. Number five, I got Shadowbox by Mavi. You guys need to check out Mavi. I'm telling you. Like, I feel like not enough people listen to him or give him credit. Shadowbox was a really well done album. Honestly, one of the cooler concepts out of any album this year. Probably the best concept, honestly. Um, I just think the only reason it's five instead of one is that the album was really short in terms of like runtime and also like song like the amount of songs, right? It's just not enough songs and a really short runtime. If it was a little bit longer, I think this would have been my top album of the year. It was just amazing. You guys have to check it out. It's just really well done. Number six, I gotta go with Metro and Future. We Don't Trust You. This album was amazing in terms of its ability to take the prowess of Future as a trap artist and Metro as one of the best producers of all time. So, yeah, I said it, one of the best producers of all time. So many bangers on this album. Hell, like this album even technically sparked the Drake and Kendrick beef. So, it's just an amazing album. The concept is, I mean, like, yes, it's about like not trusting someone, but like, it's not really well liked and listened because of the concept. Let's be honest. It was just a really well produced and a really well made album. So that's why it's my number six. Number seven, Death of Slim Shady by Eminem. Seen a lot of people hate on it. It's actually a really well done album. The concept is really interesting. It's just essentially Eminem killing his old self or Slim Shady, who's the one that got famous because of like all of his like slurs, all of his crazy sayings, things like that, right? So essentially, Eminem is maturing as a person and saying it's okay to let go of your older, or I guess your more immature self, right? and he's trying to killing that persona and personality and character so that he can show that he has matured as a person. So it's a really well done concept. A lot of really good songs as well. Eminem comes in with the great bars and lyrics, obviously, and it got repetitive a couple times. That's the only reason why it's so low, but it was a really great album, in all honesty. Now on to number 8, Might Delete Later by my goat, Jermaine Lamar Cole. This album was really good. Really great lyricism, production, flow. Only reason it's so low is because there's not really a concept. It's kind of just like throwaway songs, right? Just songs that show J. Cole's ability to be a really good rapper, and it's kind of about it. It's not really anywhere near one of Cole's best. It's probably closer to one of his worst albums, in all honesty. It's still a good album, though. So that's why it clocks in at number 8. Now on to number 9, Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q. This album was amazing when I first listened to it, and even after like listening to it a couple of times, it's still really great. It's just I think it got surpassed by all the albums that dropped after it as we got through the year, and only reason why it's so low, despite the great lyricism, the great production, the great flow, is there's not really a concept that kind of ties it together, and that's why it's like number 9 instead of like number 2 or number 3, because it was that good in terms of everything else. Number 10, KOMS 2 by Denzel. Denzel continues to show why he's one of the best next-gen rappers as well, along with Cordae. He's brilliant on the mic, brilliant with the pen, really good, great flow. The production on his songs is beautiful. Again, similar to Blue Lips, it's only this low because there's no like actual concept that ties it together. I loved Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. So I was a little bit disappointed that this album didn't really have like that overarching concept or like introspection that Melt My Eyes did, but still a great album, and that's why it's number 10. Now number 11, Faith of a Mustard Seed by DJ Mustard. It had really low album sales, and everyone was like hating on it, but I actually really enjoyed this album. It had really great production because it's Mustard, right? And I actually enjoyed this storyline that was like told throughout the album. And it kind of culminated in the last song where he just like actually raps for like the first time. So it's a really good album. Only reason it's not higher is because like obviously the lyricism isn't as good as other albums before. The guest features were great though, so it was a good album. Number 12, Ultra 85 by Logic. This is one of the few albums that genuinely had a really, really cool concept. It's just I think it was a little bit too overbloated, in all honesty, just too many songs, and that really like sunk this album in my rankings list. It's still a great album, and Logic is still a great rapper. Everyone hates on him for being corny, but come on, man, this guy's got bars for days, you know, and as a result, that's why it's number 12. Now 13, I got American Dream by 21, and this album dropped so early in the year that it's kind of gotten like swept under the rug as the years gone by. It's a really well done album. It's kind of shown 21's maturity as a rapper and as a person, and it's got a decently well done concept as well. So it's a pretty good album. Now number 14, Memoirs in Armor by Blue Navy. This was also a very underrated album. You guys have to check this out. Blue Navy is really underrated right now. Very small rapper in all honesty, but this album was pretty cool, decently interesting concept at least, and very solid lyricism and production and flow. It's a great album in all honesty. It's just there's just so many other good albums ahead of it that it's at 14. Now number 15, Metro and Future again. We Still Don't Trust You. I struggle with this 15 spot because there's a lot of really good albums that deserve to like be mentioned and put on this list. It's just to pick one of them is really tough, and I just had to go with We Still Don't Trust You. At first listen, on first listen, I really didn't like this album. Thought it was really mid, but then I kept listening to it and I slowly enjoyed most of the album, and I still think it approaches the same issues that Ultra 85 does. It's way too overbloated. There's too many songs, you know? If it was cut down to like a 14 or 16 track album, this probably would be like in the top 10. It's just a really good album. It's just all those extra and excess songs really drag the album down in terms of album quality. So that's why it's like 15, but it's still a good album. It's just not like amazing like the other ones ahead of it. Now onto the pop albums. Again, top 15. Let's start off with number 1, my top pop album for this year. Sincere by Khalid. This was a really well done album. Great vocals, pretty solid lyrics. The lyrics hit. Production was great, and it was kind of an overarching like concept or a theme. Essentially heartbreak or trying to find love, right? That kind of tied all the songs together. I really enjoyed this album. Number 2, Hearthstone Psycho by Don Toliver. It was just really hard to find a place for Don Toliver on either the rap or the pop list because he's not really one or the other, right? Like, he does rap on some songs. He also does R&B a lot on some songs. And as a result, I kind of just put him in pop. But he's really good. He's a really good artist, man. It's like, this album was just amazing. On first listen, on my last listen, it's just beautiful. The only issue I had was, like, in some of the songs, there was, like, a little bit too much going on, but that's it. Like, other than that, everything was great. Production was really unique. His vocals were great. When he rapped, he actually rapped pretty solidly. The features were amazing. Just a really well done album. So that's why it's my number 2, pop. Number 3, Imaginal Disc by Magdalena Bay. This album does not get enough love, in my opinion. It's a really good pop album. Technically synth pop, but really, really interesting concept, honestly. One of the best like concepts I've seen from a pop album. Really great vocals, great production. The only minor issue I had was that I sometimes couldn't hear like the singer's voice over like the sound of the production. That was the only issue I had. It was just like too quiet at sometimes. But other than that, a banger of an album. Now my number 4, I got Atavista by Childish Gambino. This album was also very slept on. A lot of people just kind of listened to it, said it was okay, and just went about their day. But I really enjoyed it. Kind of showed Donald Glover's ability to be a really good pop artist as well, you know? Because obviously he's had like albums where he sings. He sings really well, to be honest. But he hasn't had like an album where he's specifically done just pop, and that was kind of this album. Next, at number 5, I got Lana by SZA. This was a really cool album. Dropped, I think it was literally last week, but it was a well done album. It's just I don't really know why she put it as a deluxe to SOS because it was very different in terms of not like in terms of like its like subject matter, things like that. But still a really good album. A couple skips, but for the most part, really well done. At number 6, I put Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. This was one of my top pop albums for like a minute, but then after re-listening and comparing it to these other albums ahead of it, I just didn't think it was quite as good. Still a really well done album. Coming from someone who's not really been a Billie Eilish fan, this was a really good album. So yeah, on to number 7, I got Algorithm by Lucky Daye. This album was really good. Felt a little bit long in terms of the like how long each song was, but really great vocals from Lucky, and just a great album overall. Now number 8, Radical Optimism by Dua Lipa. So a lot of people saying this album wasn't really all that good. I just disagree. It's just Dua Lipa has great vocals on this album, really cool production, and it was just really nice to listen to another album from her. I really loved Future Nostalgia by her, so it's really cool to listen to this album. Obviously, this wasn't as good as Future Nostalgia. Still a good album, though. Now, on to number 9. We got Lil Yachty, Lil Boat, and James Blake with Bad Cameo. I feel like a lot of people didn't really talk about this album that much. Just kind of came and went. But this is also a really, really good album. The production was amazing. Yachty was really cool. James Blake was amazing with his vocals. It was a really fun album. It's a little bit short. That's the only issue, but it was a really great album. Now, number 10, Born in the Wild by Tems. This album was great. Her vocals were great. The features were really solid. Like specifically, J. Cole on Free Fall was amazing. Beautiful pick. Just a really good album, and it kind of was like one of the best albums or pop albums if the albums above it didn't exist, you know? It just really like suffers from being in like a really, really good music year. So on to number 11. I'd probably put Timeless by Kaytranada. This album was really good. Really well done production by Kaytranada. The features were amazing. Just the only issue is that there wasn't really like an overarching concept or theme that tied everything together, in my opinion. So that's why it's this low. But from just a pure music perspective, this album was really good. Now on to number 12. This is where I have Droove, Private Blizzard. Really good album. It's just the only issue is that it kind of like blended together, like all the songs, right? The songs were great. It's just they felt really similar, and that's like why it's this low. Otherwise, in terms of like pure like production, vocals, lyrics, everything, great album. Just again, a little bit too repetitive. Now number 13. This is where I have Heavy by Sir. This was a really good project as well. It wasn't as repetitive as Private Blizzard, but I also think it doesn't hit the same highs that Private Blizzard does. So still a good album, just not as good as like the previous albums above it. Now number 14. P4 by Party Next Door. This album was solid. A good album. It's just nothing compared to previous projects from Party, so I just kind of put it here. It's a good album for sure. It's just not one of the top 10 or anything like that, but still good enough for top 15. Now on to my number 15 spot. This is where I put Charm by Claro. Honestly, I might get hate for this. I don't really get the Claro hype. I tried listening to this album. It's decent. She has really good vocals. It's just I just couldn't rock with the type of music she was putting out. So again, might get hate for it, but I just thought this was a decent pop album, and that's why it's 15 instead of being like really high. Now, onto my top albums for the year. Let's start off with number 1, my album of the year, Chromacopia. Again, banger album. I talked about all my reasons in the rap album section. That's why it's number 1. Number 2, Sincere. Again, another really good pop album. That's why it's number 2. Number 3, I got G-Nex by Kendrick. A really good album. It's just not as good as the 2 above it. Number 4, I got Hearthstone Psycho. A really well done R&B, rock, rap, whatever you want to call it. Really great album, you know. Don Toliver really did sing on it. And number 5, another rap album, The Crossroads by Cordae. Again, one of my favorite rap albums of the year. Only issue is that it was a little bit too long in terms of album length, but otherwise, really well done. Now, number 6, Vince Staples come in. You are number 6 with Dark Times. Dark Times was a really well done album. Again, I talked about this all in the rap album section, but banger of an album. Number 7, with one of the coolest pop album concepts, Imaginal Disc by Magdalena Bay. Number 8, one of the coolest album concepts for a rap album, Shadowbox. Number 9, it's got to be the banger album, We Don't Trust You. Banger after banger. Ignited a rap beef. It was great. And number 10, Algada Vista. It was a really good pop album. Donald did his thing on it. So there it is. That's my top 10. All right. Let's get into my top songs of the year. I'll give you my top 5 for rap and my top 5 for pop. And then we'll kind of delve into the top songs overall, right? My best rap song of the year was Like That by Metro, Future, Kendrick. I think it was the best rap song in terms of its cultural significance, not just like the song itself. It's a really cool song, really well done song, right? But I think there's like better actual songs. It's like significance to culture is why it's number 1, because it essentially ignited the Kendrick Drake beef, right? So as a result, that's why it's the best rap song. Number 2, in my opinion, the actual best rap song, Drunk Prayer by Mavi. Amazing song. Really well done. Again, you have to check out Mavi. He's so good. Check out his album. Check out the song. Really hits all the emotions. You feel the lyrics. Everything. I essentially saw someone say that it was Marvin's Room but better. And I agree with it. Call me crazy, but it was it's an amazing song, right? Like it really hits the emotions. The lyricism is great. Brilliant rap song. Another song that really hits the emotions, Like Him by Tyler. Another great, brilliant song. Fits his album's concept really well, and that's my third best song of the year in terms of rap. Number 4, Shout Out My Goat, Jermaine Lamar Cole. Judgment Day, which came off the deluxe for 2014 FHD. The song was amazing. Really great storytelling, and it really hits. Essentially, all the songs on the deluxe are amazing, but I think this is the best one. Now, number 5, gotta go with Cordae, Nothing's Promised. Again, similar to a lot of songs on this list, it hits you by emotions, you feel the lyrics, and it's got a great sample from Kanye's Heard Him Say. So, really great song. So that's my top 5 for rap. Next, we'll talk about my top 5 pop songs for the year. First, I gotta go with Sincere by Khalid. The best song off the best pop album, in my opinion. So that's why it's number 1. Number 2, gotta go with my boy Bruno, Die With A Smile. It's kind of like a surprise drop, but it was amazing. Bruno and Lady Gaga both did their thing on it, and I need Bruno to drop another album, man. It's been too long. Need him to come with more albums. Number 3, gotta go Cairo by Billie Eilish. A lot of people really like Lunch. That's also a really good song on the album, but Cairo's so much better in my opinion, right? Just a much better song overall. That's why it's number 3, you know? Number 4, I gotta go Don Toliver, Tore Up. Again, I don't know if Don Toliver should count for pop, but Tore Up, the guitar strings, the production, the lyrics weren't all that, but just the whole hype around the song was amazing. Just a banger of a song. And number 5, I go with the collab, Tough, by Quavo and Lana Del Rey. And I know Lana Del Rey's done really well with rap artists in the past, for example, A$AP Rocky, Cardi. It's just, this was really surprising to see her gel so well with Quavo on the song. It's just a banger of a song, you know? So that's my top 5 for pop. Next, we'll go over the top songs of the year overall. So I'll start off again, Like That. Again, cultural significance. That's why it's number 1. Number 2, I probably got to go Sincere. It was a really great song as well. Number 3, Drunk Prayer, my favorite rap song of the year. Number 4, Like Him, a close second in that list. And number 5, my boy Bruno, Gotta Go Die With A Smile. So it's my top 5 overall songs of 2024. That's all we have for today, folks. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know down below what you guys think. What are your top albums, top songs of the year? 2024 was a great year for music. So many great albums. A massive rap beef between Kendrick and Drake. Just a great year overall for music. And I'm really excited for what 2025 has to offer. So, again, that's all for today. And until next time.